Hey everybody, what's up? It's Chad, and you might be wondering, Chad, what is up with this weird dress that makes my calves look so crisp? Well anyways, I just bought my next plane ticket to Japan, so I'm all stoked on the Japanese language again. And I remember thinking about it when I was reading a manga earlier today, about how I used to get like weird, funny looks when I rode the bus or the train anywhere in Japan with me reading these, because people are like, how did this white person figure out the code? How did he crack the code? And the easy answer is, it's actually not that hard to read manga in Japanese. And I know, you guys all probably have your reasons, like, oh, Japanese is hard, it's bleh. I'm gonna give you a guide on how I learned to read manga in Japanese, even though I'm not technically, like, fluent. I hope you guys are strapped in with a notebook, because I'm about to spray knowledge all over your face. Quick disclaimer, yes, you heard it right, I'm not technically fluent, I don't claim to be. Don't take this as someone who's fluent telling you. This is someone that likes manga and anime and likes to watch and read them in Japanese without subtitles. So, I guess from one weeb to another, Wu-Tang, Weeb-Tang, Weeb-Tang. Just sharing some advice on stuff that I really enjoy and like. The first step is learning Hiragana and Katakana. And there's no easy way of saying it, you gotta memorize it. And I will link in the description down below the app that I use to help, but whether you can find apps to learn it or memory tools like Anki or whatever to learn it, or you have books, or if you're just a pen and paper and write it a million times before you get it type of person, learn Hiragana and Katakana. No excuses. Here's your base level, bass level. Here's the trout level, bass to trout. Do you see the issue? Next up, you're going to want to typity on your desktop, and you want to get on Tai Kim's Guide to the Japanese Language. It's very, very good. It's pretty comprehensive on just about everything you'll need grammar-wise. It's not necessarily going to teach you vocab or words, but it's going to teach you all the grammar that you're going to need and all the base levels of everything else that you're going to need. That's the important part, is getting the grammar. You will always be learning new words. I learned a new word in English today. But yeah, if you can learn the grammar, you're going to figure out everything else. The words will come, you can get a dictionary and figure out the words. The grammar's the hardest part. So just go through, make sure you read all of it, going through every piece of it. It should take you a couple weeks, honestly. Now that you can read Hiragana and Katakana and you know the basic grammar, I bet the language is kind of popping alive for you when you listen to it, or when you watch anime, or talk to people, or whatever it is that you do, or the reason you're watching this. That 90% of you are for anime. I don't know how many of you are watching this just because you happen to like the Japanese newspaper. But yeah, now's the tedious part. And if you're like, wait, this is the tedious part? Yes, this is the tedious part. I'm not going to make you learn everything. Most people that I've read online says, oh, learn the core 1,000 words that are used in everyday conversation, and you can read and talk to a lot of people. Yes, that's true. I don't know the core 1,000 words, and I don't have an issue talking to people. So here's what I personally use. I used Japanese Pod 101 when I first started. I did a year with it, and I ended up learning the core 300 to 400 words that are used the most frequently in Japanese. Now, if you're doing a textbook like, I don't know, the Genki books, which 1 and 2 would be a great firm foundation. Now, what I did was, when I finally got all those words, I printed out a sheet of the most used words. Mine was from Japanese Pod. They're all roughly the same because it's the most used words. I mean, you're not going to find like Vishnu on it. But I went into my cool little folder thingy, and I just printed out the sheets. And whenever I learned one, I highlighted it. So that way it's like, I got it, learned it, and you just keep going down the list. And the more and more you go through these books, the more you learn, the more and more you'll see your knowledge will fill out. Now, if you can honestly, in my opinion, get to the top 300 to 400 words that are used, if you know all of the grammar from Tai Kim's or the Genki books or Japanese Pod even, you have a very, very firm foundation. The issue is your gaps in vocab. And you're going to have gaps in vocab for the entire time you're learning Japanese. And that's okay. And that's what this last step is. Again, I have an iPhone, but I use an app called Imawa. Whatever, it'll be right in the description. I don't have to be right now. And it's just a Japanese dictionary for kanji for words. And you can type in words in English, you can type in words in Japanese with your Hiragana and Katakana that you freshly know, or you could type it in Romanji if you're a pansy. Not pansies, are you? No, because you're watching my video. There's no pansies watching my video. So you've learned Hiragana, Katakana. You have Tai Kim's grammar memorized, or you go through the Genki books or through Japanese Pod or whatever your means is to learn all the basic Japanese grammar, okay? Now you've also learned 300 to 400 of the most common words. At this point, props to you. It's hard. High five. Yeah! So now I'm going to teach you how you do it. So here's the buy step or the online step. I went to Japan. I have friends in Japan that send me manga because they're awesome. So if you're not that lucky, figure it out. I believe in you. You found this video. You can find manga. The internet's a thing. But when you're looking for a manga, the thing you want to find is A, is there Furigana? Well, here's where I'm going to splash more knowledge all over your face. Furigana are the little texts of Hiragana and or Katakana, depending if we're borrowing Chinese meaning. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The little Hiragana next to the kanji to read how it's phonetically pronounced. Why is this important? A, you can still read through the kanjis. You may know uchi for house, but you don't know the kanji for house. And if you can find uchi, and it's in the context of the grammar that would sound like he's talking about his place, and if you see a picture that looks like a house, A and B comes together to make it a lot easier. The next step, make sure the manga is easy. I know everyone wants to go read Yu Yu Hakusho's and all that, and freaking hipsters read nowadays because it's cool. Start easy. I know this one's really popular with English speakers that are learning Japanese. You can read this at a very low level. This is called Yotsuba. This is one of the first 3 mangas I brought back on my first trip to Japan. You still there? Okay, now we're actually going to get to the fun part. Here's to reading. So, when you're going through your manga, what you want to do is you're going to read the whole thing. The whole thing. Don't stop to look up dictionaries. Read through. It's going to seem really discouraging because you're going to feel like, oh, I don't know very much. But trust me, it gets a lot easier. Once you finish the whole book, what you're going to do now is chapter by chapter, because most mangas are several chapters per book, you're going to go in and you're going to write notes. So for each, when you start reading, when you don't know something, be it a word in hiragana, a grammatical structure that you may be unfamiliar with, or a kanji you don't know, you're going to find out what it is using your dictionary or stroke order finder. If you happen to have an online manga, I'd recommend, was it Rikai-kun? It's I use Google Chrome. It's a Google Chrome extension that when you scroll over Japanese, it'll break everything down from the kanjis to the structures. But this whole time, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of comprehension. You're going to be going through and checking out grammar, kanji, all of that fun stuff. You're going to go through. This whole thing should be covered in sticky notes. So now you've been through it once to try to comprehend with the knowledge that you have. You've gone through once more, highlighting, noting, making sure you understand the grammar and all the kanji in the entire book. Here's your last one, and this is probably the funnest one, because this one, things will start popping in your brain and things will start working like magic. It's really weird how well this third time runs. Now, you just go through it one more time. Same book, just once more through, and you're like, Chad, that's so tedious. Believe me, this book's gonna explode you like you've never had a book explode, and it's gonna be in a different language, and it's gonna be so weird. And you'll start to see, you start understanding not just words in kanjis, but whole sentences, or whole thoughts, whole ideas. And it's really cool because when you start looking at the book, you start realizing, wow, there's none of this is in English, and I'm understanding the author's intent. So yeah, I'm sorry if this was sort of scatterbrained, but this is how I learned to read. And if you guys have any problems reading manga, or if you want probably more help with just Japanese in general, or feel free to ask me. I'll answer any questions that I get. You know, we'll learn together. It'll be sweet, because I'm not fluent by any means, and I'm still learning, and it'd be really cool if I could ask maybe some of you that know what you're talking about stuff to help me. So yeah, anyways, if you guys thought this video was helpful, or if you liked it, physically liking it helps me a buttload. It actually does help me a lot. And I post videos weekly, every Wednesday. If you want constant material like this, subscribing is awesome, and I will give you a daisy next time I see you, hopefully. I hope I get to meet you. I bet you're a really rad person, because I remember watching these videos when I was learning Japanese, and they were such a huge help. And who knows, maybe I get to inspire another person to go to Japan someday, and they make their own videos about wiping knowledge on people's faces. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week. One last one.